you to the heart of the action.
He's getting clues in plenty. The climax.
Passing back. Milburn is there, and he fires in a terrific shot.
1-1 after a very
Double has been done for only the 4th time this century, the 6th time in history, and Manchester United is on that illustrious roll of honour.
Ford Escort Cup Special.
It was no place for the faint-hearted. After all, there was a Wembley final at stake. It was fast, it was furious, it was fabulous stuff.
Roy Keane is free. Walker comes in now. Dowie! Crystal Palace have taken the lead at Villa Park. Chris Armstrong's onside. It's going wide. That's a glorious chance. Owen who takes. Dennis Owen delivers a priceless goal for Manchester United. Crystal Palace could get back in front here, but Armstrong has missed. Giggs! Super save. Chris Armstrong! Crystal Palace are back in front! Come on, run! Palister! 2-2.
They couldn't be separated, even after extra time. So tonight it's Smith against Ferguson, the Eagles against the Red Devils, part 2, and it has to end here. Well, Palace have been calling for a boycott. They don't believe any of us should be here tonight after the tragedy at the weekend when Paul Nixon lost his life. This is Villa Park, 45 minutes before the kickoff. They may just get their way. Live on Sky Sports tonight with the FA Cup semi-final replay between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Everton are waiting for the winners. Well, Manchester United have a tentative hold on this trophy. It has to be said, it represents their best chance of silverware this season, but they were rocking on Sunday. Twice they were behind, twice they got back on level terms, which is why we're here tonight. We're joined by a man who's already at Wembley, Joe Royle, the manager of Everton. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks,
nice
Richard.
to see you, and many congratulations, of course, first of all.
Thank you.
Have you come back down to earth yet?
Yes, straight away. We've got a very important game on Friday against Newcastle, so it had to happen very quickly, and we're looking forward to that now.
Would you really swap the 3 points that you said you would take for a place at Wembley?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
But you'll get out of it anyway, won't you?
I hope so. I would think so. I think we're good enough. I think we're strong enough and we're playing well enough. But it's a very precarious position that we're in. It's certainly a lot better than it was. But no, I'd take the 3 points, believe me.
How tough is it down there at the moment?
Well, it's like a greasy pole. You know, you find yourself winning a game here and there, and then you go up 3 places, and then one bad result that goes against you, and all of a sudden you're down there fighting again. And it's very, very hard to get away from it. Once a side's in a losing mode, as it were, they don't seem to see any light at the end of the tunnel. And we found this at Oldham last year. Having lost in the semi-final, we had 8 league games left, I think, and we just couldn't get going again. And once you've dropped your hands, once you're there and cruising, you can't accelerate again.
Oh, well, let's put a smile on your face right now. This is the semi-final that was played at Elland Road on Sunday against Tottenham. You spoiled the dream final, of course, didn't you?
Yes, we were very sorry about that. Absolutely decimated.
This is your first. What was it a little... I mean, the scoreline suggests that it was easier than it should have been. Was that a fair reflection of what happened?
Well, it wasn't easy, but certainly the 4-1 didn't flatter us. There could have been more goals. Their keeper played exceptionally well.
Was he a bonus for you, Graham Stewart?
Graham was terrific, and I've been a little bit undecided about Graham as to his best position, to be honest with you. He can play wide, he can play in the middle, he can play in the middle of midfield. And we'd played him in a number of positions, but that certainly on Sunday looked his best position.
Was that a penalty?
He was outstanding.
The referee said yes, but in your opinion, was it?
Well, it doesn't matter, it was given, wasn't it?
But was it?
Yeah, oh, heavy breathing, wasn't it?
But from those things, games turn, don't they?
Well, they can do, and it turned again. The big fella makes a terrific save with his legs in a minute. And from it we break away and get the all-important third goal.
Paul Rideout's injured there. He was carried off and stayed off. What's the story? Was Amakachi sent on?
Well, we were waiting to put him on, but I got the signal from the physio to say that just give us a couple of minutes, he mightn't be that bad, he's recovering. Whilst we were looking at one end of the pitch, Daniel was that keen to get on, and you see me there pleading with the fourth official to say we wanted another couple of minutes. 5 minutes later when he scored two, I was claiming it as a great substitution.
Was there a communication mix-up between yourself and Amakachi, or was he going on anyway?
No, Daniel was just that keen to get on. He's waited. It's been a very frustrating season for him, and you can see his joy here when he scored.
He's given you a nice problem then, hasn't he?
Yes, the kind of nice problem that we all say we like.
Are you undecided about him?
Not necessarily undecided. We started very well without him, and he's struggled to get into the side. I don't think he's been playing at his best, and he's declared himself he's not an out-and-out front player. For a side that wasn't scoring goals, we put Paul Rideout and Duncan Ferguson together and started scoring goals, so Daniel's found it hard to get in.
But he played a big part in your semi-final at the weekend. 4-1 then, so better memories of the semi this season than last time round, when you were with Oldham, of course, and came up against Manchester United. They say you only actually get one crack at United. Do you think that's in fact the case?
Well, I don't think that's true with any side. You know, there's nobody that's got a God-given right to win replays, and certainly not United. But they do have a good record in replays, and that's why people are saying that, you know, Crystal Palace have had their chance. Maybe not.
You were so close last season, of course, weren't you, at Wembley Stadium?
Seconds away. We'd gone 1-0 in front in extra time, and then, of course, we'd seen off everything that United could throw at us, or so we thought, and then the one player in the country who probably could have scored with the volley arrived, and that was Mark Hughes. The only time we got wrong side of us all afternoon, and there it was.
Was it inevitably coming?
It wasn't inevitable at this stage. We weren't in any trouble. We were defending quite nicely. You see a ball just hooked over a shoulder. Mark Hughes is falling backwards, and anybody else, the ball would still be travelling. But it was him.
So what about your attitude for the replay then? You say no side has a God-given right to win it, but I think everybody expected them to. Was that really the feeling in your camp?
Well, the difference was that they brought fresh players back. Kanchelskis came back in, Brian Robson came in, and we hadn't really got the scope to change it. And I knew that one or two were struggling both mentally after the semi-final and physically, and their fresh legs made all the difference. You see Kanchelskis here ran riot on the night.
So are there similarities for Crystal Palace? No,
I think the similarities are that they might have to make changes. From what I can gather, the goalkeeper's struggling to play, and Wilmot will play. A lad who'll be thrown into a cauldron, as it were, not having played serious first-team football for 2 years. I don't know about the centre-halves, whether they're going to be fit, but they've got to make changes.
Well, we're waiting for confirmation of the team news, but as you say, Reece Wilmot does play for Crystal Palace. Manchester United will have Steve Bruce back as well, but how will Wilmot be focusing on this game, and what will be going through his mind at this stage?
Well, he'd be very nervous, I would imagine. I don't think he'd be dishonest about that. He has played, I'm told, 3 minutes in 2 years. He's not really been an overly regular first-team player anywhere in his career, although he's very capable. So I would think the United will be trying to test him as early as possible, just to find out what stuff he's made of.
He has tasted this sort of occasion before, of course. He played for Arsenal, I think, in a League Cup semi-final, but that was some time ago. But as you say, 33 years of age, he's been around long enough to not concern themselves, surely tonight, too much.
No, he's a capable keeper, but it's a very, very big game to come into after being out for so long.
What would you do if you were Manchester United? Give him something to think about as early as you can?
I think they'll shoot from the kick-off.
Steve Bruce comes back for Manchester United. He is included tonight. That must be a psychological plus for them, surely.
Well, I think he's a massive influence, Steve Bruce. I think also he makes Palister a better player. I mean, Big Pally's a terrific player in his own right, but with Steve Bruce alongside him, they're a great pair.
You must have been asked, I would have thought, 1,000 times already since Sunday who would you prefer in the final, so let me put it one more time before, in fact, this game starts. Who do you want?
Well, it's not a matter of who we want. We've beaten the Robins, the Magpies, the Cockerels, the Canaries, so the Eagles would be nice in the final. But
I was going to use that a little bit later on. You've spoiled that for me now, you know that.
I do apologise.
So you fancy the Eagles then, do you?
I don't necessarily fancy them. I think the way things have gone, it would favour United. But I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it go into extra time and then penalties. OK, well, it's Villa Park tonight. Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Crystal Palace, we've been hearing all day, in fact, since lunchtime yesterday, for a boycott of this fixture tonight. They don't want their fans here. They feel that none of us should be around as a mark of respect to Paul Nixon, who lost his life at the weekend, but some inevitably have travelled. Having said that, there aren't too many from Old Trafford just yet, although maybe Joe will argue with me again. He was a little late in tonight, so there must be somebody on the motorway, Joe. I've seen them all. They're coming.
Villa Park tonight, FA Cup semi-final replay between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Everton are waiting for the winners. This one tonight has to end here. Our live football on Sky Sports tonight is the FA Cup semi-final replay between Crystal Palace and Manchester United from Villa Park. Everton, of course, already through to the final. Mark Hughes is the favourite to open scoring tonight at 5-1. Armstrong there, who scored, of course, in the original tie on Sunday. 10 goals in 10 cup ties now for Palace. He's 7-1. Giggs, 8-1. Dowie, the other Palace scorer on Sunday, 9-1. Paul Ince, 14-1. United's two scorers, Owen and Palister, are on that page. 16-1 Dennis Owen, Palister 33-1. Steve Bruce amongst them at 20-1. And to reach the final, Manchester United 7-2 on. They were 13-8 on at the weekend. So the bookies, like everybody else, feel that you do indeed just get one crack at Manchester United, and Palace have had it. Live football tonight from Villa Park, Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Last night, we were at Ibrox for the Scottish Cup semi-final replay between Hibs and Celtic.
Collins. Back here with Paul Nixon. Great ball in the full-back. That's field goal! Brilliant play from Celtic. Willie Faulkner puts them ahead. Trouble there. Out it comes to Collins. Delightful finish from Collins. Measured into the corner. Here's Millen. Beat Wright's header. Looking for McGinley. Now Wright. Hibs are back in the match. The pressure is paid off. Chance on there for the header, that'll settle it! Full goal for Celtic!
So Celtic chasing their first trophy in 6 years through to the final, where they play Airdrie. Everton, of course, are waiting for the winners tonight. A little bit earlier, Nick Collins spoke to both skippers, Gareth Southgate and Steve Bruce, wondering what they learned from Sunday's tie.
Everybody wrote us off before the game, but in fairness to our players, we got stuck into Manchester United and we took the game to them for periods. Unfortunately, when we went ahead both times, we sat off a bit and let them come at us, and that was when they were able to sneak the 2 goals.
Do you feel that if you can get ahead in tonight's replay that you could go on and finish the job this time?
Well, I think we've learnt a lesson from Sunday, certainly. You've got to keep playing against the side of United's calibre. There's no point changing your tactics while you're ahead. And in fairness, that wasn't something which was an instruction from the bench. It was just something which the players, I think, once we had the lead, we wanted to hang on to it desperately.
I think second half was much better, and we created a few chances, and we just needed that little break when Dennis scored. And that was important. And then it goes into extra time. We've missed a great chance where Sharpie's put Brian McLaren, he's missed by about 3 inches, and they go up there and score. So it's always difficult to come back when you're always chasing the game, but full credit to the lads, they've dug in there, and especially when you go behind in extra time and pulled something out and give us another chance.
Steve Bruce, who's recalled by Manchester United tonight. Of course, a sensitive evening with the events at the weekend. Alex Ferguson and Alan Smith there, the two managers. Backstage right now, they'll be coming out before the kick-off to address both sets of supporters. Calling for the right sort of atmosphere here tonight. Chris Armstrong, who might be thinking back to a couple of chances that went begging at the weekend. Of course, he converted one, but missed a couple. Joe Royle is our guest this evening, the Everton manager. How good is he, Joe?
Well, he's very dangerous. He's always stretching you, always looking to get behind you, particularly in the inside right channel. His finishing at times can be a little bit erratic, but he seems to be getting better as the season goes on after his little break. He's come back very sharp and he's scored one or two excellent goals. So he can be a big danger. Fortunately for United, I think that their pace between the two centre-backs, Palister, will be on that side because Pally's quite pacey himself. But nevertheless, he's a handful for anybody.
Is he playing well enough to justify talk of that £5 million transfer fee?
Well, I don't know that anybody justifies the fee. It's a matter of what you've got to pay to get them. To say any one player is worth 5 million, 6 million or 7 million doesn't really matter. It's what you've got to pay.
These were a couple of chances that went begging on Sunday.
Yes, again, that's in the inside left channel more, when he's not on his natural foot and he's used his right foot rather than his left foot. But that's his more natural channel here, and as you see again, he fires across the keeper but wide.
He knows, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, yes. But he keeps getting there and he keeps going there, so he's dangerous. Again, just a ball played in behind.
A miss-hit.
Well, doesn't matter.
Didn't matter at all. Chris Armstrong, who lines up for Crystal Palace tonight alongside his strike partner Ian Dowie, both of them on the score sheet at the weekend. John Solarco, another influential member of the Crystal Palace side, delighted to see him recovered now from his horrific knee injury. Signed another contract for Crystal Palace, and he seems to be enjoying his football again, Joe. Mind you, he shouldn't he, with the amount of time he's been out? He's
done terrifically well. After serious knee surgery, he doesn't look to have lost any pace at all. And you find when players are out that long, they lose something, but he doesn't. And he's very direct. You know what he's going to do. He's going to get the ball and run at you and cross the ball.
And he does do that, despite the fact you know he does it, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's very good at it, and I think he's a big plus for them. He's always stretching people. And that's important in the modern game. And with him and Armstrong up front, they've got lots of pace.
No Nigel Martin, of course, for Crystal Palace tonight. Reece Wilmot takes his place. This is why, as early as the first or second minute in the original tie on Sunday, he was injured there. Suspected broken finger, which was later confirmed. Will it be a big miss, the fact that he's not around tonight?
He's a terrific goalkeeper. He's been very consistent ever since he's been at Palace. And I know that Steve Copper, when he was there, thought he was England class, and he's been there or thereabouts. But Reece Wilmot's experienced.
Hey, look at this, a save like this from Giggs with a broken finger. Maybe he should be in.
Well, I don't know which finger's broken.
That's a fair point. Yeah. OK, Nigel Martin, who doesn't play tonight, he's with Nick Collins.
Well, Nigel, first of all, how disappointing is it not to be able to play in tonight's replay?
Oh, it's terribly disappointing. I mean, the first game was such a great game, great atmosphere to play in, and you know, I'm very disappointed that I'm not out there tonight.
Was there a stage when you thought, despite the broken finger, I might still be able to play?
Yeah, we went along to the surgeon on Monday, and it was really on his advice, really, that he sort of said that, you know, there's no way I could play.
The fear presumably being that if you take a knock tonight, it could end up in a serious hand injury.
Yeah, it could make it an awful lot worse, and that was obviously his fear.
Now tell us about your deputy, Reece Wilmot, very experienced. What can we expect from him tonight?
He's very safe. I mean, you know, he's a good goalkeeper in his own right, and you know, we've got no worries at all on that score, you know, and we all think he'll do fine.
How big a test is it for him? Because I suppose there's always the possibility of a penalty shootout at the end of extra time, isn't there?
That's right, you know, that's another thing for him to think about, but I'm sure he'll do fine once he gets out there, you know, the nerves settle down, and he'll just treat it like another game.
Tailor-made for a real sort of fairy story if he was to make the crucial save, isn't it?
Well, I certainly hope he does, you know. You know, if it did go to penalties, then I hope he does.
What's the feeling in the Palace camp about whether this game should have been played or not tonight?
It's a tough decision. You know, things that have happened have not been the greatest things, but you know, now that the game's on, you know, we've just got to get our minds on it and you know, do the best we can.
All right, Nigel, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoy watching the game tonight. Thank you.
It's absolutely right, isn't it? There is a feeling around Villa Park that you only get one crack at Manchester United, that Crystal Palace have had it. Is that the way they see it, I wonder?
Could be a bit harder with Nigel Martin out, obviously, but I thought, they're going to give it a go. They haven't got many supporters behind them, but we're a better away side than we are home side, so maybe that might help us out a bit.
I think we should have had them in the first game. I think if you don't do United in the first game, you've got problems.
Well, if there's anything like they played on Sunday, I think they've got a very good chance. I mean, they showed a lot of spirit, and that's what we're looking for tonight.
We've got Armstrong and Dow and Slavko up front. I think if we attack the United players again, we've just got just as much as a chance of getting a result here and hopefully getting to Wembley.
Can United finish it off tonight?
Well, I hope they can, certainly, yeah. I don't see why they shouldn't do. They're a better team than Palace. I'll be honest, I think they had their chance on Sunday, and we'll finish them off quite comfortably tonight, 2 or 3-0.
I think on Sunday they were a bit lucky to get the draw. I don't think they played as well as they can, but tonight, if they play anything like they can, they'll win.
I don't think there should be any problem. Yeah, the underdog never really gets a second chance. I think it'll be about 3-0.
I think we were a lot stronger today than we was on Sunday, with Brucey Beck pushing Keane up in the middle. So I think we was lucky to stay in it on Sunday, but I definitely think we'll be comfortable tonight.
Well, there's a strange feeling about the place. Palace have been calling for their fans to boycott it. Joe Royal's been caught up in traffic coming south down the M6. Apparently there's a few out there, but inside the stadium there are not many, it has to be said. The game, despite the fact that there are 1 or 2 on the motorway still, will kick off at 7:45. This, we remind ourselves, an FA Cup semi-final replay. Inside a stadium that holds close on 44,000, there are only 7,500 right now. And we're, 15-20 minutes from the kick-off? After the break, we'll be hearing from both managers who'll be stepping out onto the pitch to address the crowd, Alan Smith and Alex Ferguson, and we're not too far away now. The date and destiny. Against Manchester United. Everton, of course, waiting for the winners in the final, and these two have had a right royal time getting to this stage.
Armstrong is past him. Cantona is free. Giggs has seen him. He's found him. Cantona looks for the chip. Oh, exquisitely done. Armstrong, Keane trying to make up the ground. Chris Armstrong. Palister. 2-2.
And it's Everton at Wembley next. For one of these teams tonight, it has to end here this evening, extra time and penalties if required. Our guest this evening is Joe Royal, the Everton manager. We've set it up the same way, Joe, but there is an unusual, eerie feeling about the place. It seems that the supporters are going to have their say one way or the other tonight. What is your feeling? Do you think the game should have been played this evening?
Well, whilst I respect Crystal Palace's views, and you have to with the club involved and also the family of the very unfortunate person involved, I personally think it had to be played. Otherwise you're looking at giving in really to all the wrong elements.
8,700 I think at the moment for an FA Cup semi-final replay. It is extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, it is. I've never seen anything quite like it, to be honest, but I would say that there are an awful lot of people stuck on the motorway because I've just left them.
If it stays like this, how will these two teams react in a big stadium? It's not, a third full yet, is it?
Well, they'll get on with it. They'll get on with it. They've got to, haven't they? There's so much at stake. They'll get on with it.
Villa Park, the home of Aston Villa, of course, as you can see. A strange feeling about the place. But But there is an FA Cup semi-final being played here tonight. The prize is Wembley and Everton. Our match commentators this evening, gentleman who knows the place very well, of course, Andy Gray, and he's with Martin Tyler.
Hello Richard, hello again everyone. Yes, of course the atmosphere is subdued and we respect the reasons for that, but Andy, football-wise, it has been a tremendous semi-final to this point.
Yeah, it was a wonderful match on Sunday, the game itself, Mark. You couldn't have asked for any more. I think the key to the excitement was the fact that the underdogs got themselves ahead in front, they edged in front, and it was noticeable to hear Gareth Southgate talk that when they got in front, they seemed to sit back, because I felt the same. I felt the best football that they played on the day was when they were level with Manchester United, when they knew they had to score. I thought Palace were at their best. As soon as they edged in front, I thought they got tremendously nervy. Even early in the game, I thought they got really nervy. And the prospect suddenly of Wembley was looming large for them. And it just affected the way they play. Now, that may be something they've learned.
Well, we are expecting the two managers to come out and address the crowd shortly. But prior to that, let's just confirm the team news for you. And we start with Crystal Palace. And it's almost 3 years since they started a senior match without Nigel Martyn in goal. Reece Wilmot was signed in August for just such an emergency like this, and the 33-year-old who spent 10 years learning his trade with Arsenal, he's a significant figure tonight. The 10 outfield players are those which finished the game on Sunday. Dean Gordon came on for Chris Coleman, who hasn't recovered in time. Eric Young is still sore after a blow on the ankle in extra time, but he plays, as does Darren Pitcher, who's got a touch of tonsillitis.
Two changes, Martin, but I don't think there'll be much change in the formations, and it'll be the same sort of things that Alan Smith will be looking for his players. He wants his two central midfield players to battle, to really scrap, win the battle, and when we see Manchester United's side next, we'll see how difficult it's going to be for them. I think the one thing he will want from these two important players, he'll want Ray Houghton and John Salako on the ball more, particularly Salako. I thought John was very quiet up this left-hand side on Sunday. He'll be looking for more from them. He's got to have a solid back four who play well for him, and I think he might get that. And then, of course, Armstrong and Dowie. They really have looked a good partnership since Alan Smith put them together. If they can continue in that vein, the two of them have got enough to pose Manchester United one or two problems.
And as you can hear from the noise as the players go back down the tunnel, they have got some support here. Well, as for Manchester United, Alex Ferguson admitted before he left here on Sunday evening that not only would Steve Bruce make his expected return after suspension, but that Nicky Butt, an inspiring substitute in that first match, would be in from the start. David Beckham and Brian McClare stand down, with Roy Keane switched to his much preferred midfield position. Andrei Kanchelskis continues to feel an injury which is baffling United's medical experts, and of course Andy Cole is still cup-tied.
Well, no surprise to see the very influential Bruce there. And I think when they're defending high balls from either straight or from wide, they'll benefit from Steve Bruce being back in the side. It's in the midfield area where he's tinkered a little bit, Alex Ferguson. Keane there, Butt there, insta-holding player. Expect these two to make these forward runs. Ryan Giggs we've got on the right-hand side, but don't expect him to be playing just up and down there. He has instructions to make runs in and down the inside right channel. Look for him doing that. Lee Sharp, naturally left-sided, will be looking to go on the outside and provide the ammunition.
Well, Manchester United have Steve Bruce back, but Chris Armstrong, Andy, caused Gary Palister plenty of problems. Is Steve Bruce going to be able to stem the flow, the chances that were created here?
Well, I think what we'll find, Steve Bruce no doubt will help them aerially. I've said that, Martin, and I think he'll do that. But where I think that they'll have an advantage still, if we can just hold it there, even with Steve. Now, Roy Keane there is not slow by any stretch of the imagination. So look, Armstrong likes to run down both channels, inside right and inside left. Now he's away. Now look here, if we carry it on, two players, and he's running with the ball, who are no slouches, but he keeps his distance, he keeps in front of them. But that's not his strong suit, that inside left channel, Martin. But he did get away once or twice as well down the other side. This one in the second half, look at his position. If we hold it there, can we? He's going to get himself in between centre back and full back. That is a super position he's in now for a striker with pace. And look at his body shape. He doesn't want it short here, he wants it in there, and he's away. Now I think he can still cause Steve Bruce a problem with those type of runs. Bruce will win an awful lot in the air. He's a great competitor, and he'll win his fair share. But it's over the top. Look at it again, just hold it again. There again, there's two players there. Gary Palister's been drawn forward with Ian Dowie, and look at his position, Armstrong's looking to run on. If we run it on from there he goes, he's away. Now look at this, it's a pretty even race up till now, but he gets in front, gets a little bit of luck, which I think he deserved on the day, and that was it. Put them ahead in the first minute of extra time.
Well, Alec Ferguson and Alan Smith with David Davis from the Football Association coming out now to make their address to, we reckon at the moment, around 11,000 supporters in the ground. The lowest gate for a post-war FA Cup semi-final, incidentally, around 25,000 when Wimbledon played Luton back in 1988. There's a great deal of mutual respect between the two managers. There's been a certain amount of disagreement between the two clubs at boardroom level. I'm sure you've read about that, with Crystal Palace wanting this match to be played next week and not tonight. But Alan Smith and his players know that there is a job to be done, and they've accepted the FA and the police's recommendation that, in the best interest of all concerned, tonight the appointed date should be adhered to. Now we'll just pause and listen to this.
An important night for Manchester United, both on and off the field, isn't it?
I think it's important for football, particularly for Manchester United. Our history and tradition demands that we have our best behaviour on and off the field. I know our supporters won't let us down. The important thing is a game of football is to be enjoyed. Now let's enjoy it.
And the minute's silence, Alex, that will, millions of people will be watching that moment as well.
Well, it's an important minute, and I'm sure everyone will respect it.
Alan Smith, manager of Crystal Palace, what's your message at this difficult time for Crystal Palace fans?
Well, I just want every fan to enjoy the game. I think it's vital that we cut out any form of violence, whether it's verbal or whether it's physical. And I just want this to be a great evening for the Manchester United supporters, my supporters over there, and I just hope you have a great game, and whoever wins it deserves to go to Wembley, and that's the main thing. Thank you.
Alex Ferguson and Alan Smith, and a message warmly received, Joe Royal, and roundly applauded as well. It's one I imagine you'd echo, is it?
Oh yes, I think we all do. Unfortunately, football has a 99% of excellent, good supporters who want to watch the football, and 1% of hooligans and idiots who aren't interested in the football. And unfortunately, that has to be said to everybody, and really it should just account to the 1%.
Well, we are here, whatever the rights and wrongs of that. We do have an FA Cup semi-final on our hands, so let's concentrate on the football. Crystal Palace against Manchester United. What do you expect from this game tonight, Joe?
I think that you'll see a different United. I think they'll come out the traps an awful lot quicker. I think that if Palace do get their rhythm and do start attacking United and get round their box, that's when they've actually got to be most aware, because United are lightning on the break. United are going to be favourites for this. But you've got to remember it took 2 set pieces for them to score Saturday, and it's certainly not going to be easy tonight.
You don't think the lack of atmosphere will bother either team?
No, the prize is so great, that won't matter.
You talk about Crystal Palace getting their rhythm. Is that in fact accurate, or will they be more about stopping Manchester United finding theirs?
Well, there's 2 sides to it. I think the Palace have come good a little bit late in the season. They've certainly been in much better form of late than ever, having struggled to score goals all season, and now scored 2 goals against the champions on Saturday. So they'll be fancying their chances a little bit.
Would you agree that this trophy represents United's best chance of silverware this season? There is a final, of course, against Everton to be played, but yes, will they be thinking that way too?
I think so. I think that they've mentally accepted now that Blackburn have got to slip up dreadfully, really, to throw the league away, and this would represent their best chance.
So this is a really big night for Manchester United?
Well, Alex is a winner. He just wants to win things anyway, and he'll be making that abundantly clear to them. You know, forget what's at the end of it, but it's a game that's got to be won.
And what about Crystal Palace's situation? Like you, they're fighting relegation. Presumably, like you, they'd rather the opportunity to stay up than go to Wembley if given the choice. But what if they do get into the final? How much of a distraction to both you and them?
I don't think it would be a distraction. I think then that would be an impetus to send both sides on. If you know you can put the final away to 20th of May, forget about it, just concentrate on your league form. I don't think that's a problem then.
Well, it's on for the right to play Everton. Our match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Well, those matters which are settled by the toss of a coin have been reversed this time. The FA Cup holders look like Manchester United in their proper kit. Remember, they had to wear their third choice strip on Sunday. The second colour, black, clashes with the referee in FA Cup matches, remember. And with Steve Bruce at the head of the line, the familiarity of Manchester United increases. Crystal Palace stayed up here in Birmingham after the match on Sunday. After all, they had expected to go on to Blackburn. They travelled back to London on Monday and returned yesterday. The Manchester United players have had a couple of nights in their own beds. Well, the players will group in the centre to observe a period of silence in memory of the Crystal Palace supporter Paul Nixon, who lost his life when, well away from the ground, the game was used as an excuse for senseless violence.
Silence prior to this evening's game. The minute silence will be action by referee Mr. David Ellery, who will blow his whistle to start and finish the period. Thank you.
Great respect shown. In strictly footballing terms, it has been a tremendous tie. Thousands of honest, fair-minded fans, the vast majority horrified at the off-the-field incident, which has cast a shadow over this semi-final. Reece Wilmot, in his 10 years with Arsenal, he had just 9 senior games, but oddly both his first-team debut in a League Cup quarter-final and his First Division debut were here at Villa Park. And Andy, he played in both those games. I don't know whether you remember that, back in 1986. Villa, your team, didn't win either of them.
Oh, well, there you go then. So how do you expect me to remember, Martin? But the one thing he does have, Reece, he has tremendous experience. And I think he'll use that tonight. I don't think Alan Smith will be too perturbed about that.
And another man with tremendous experience supporting the Manchester United cause. He's missed 7 games this season through suspension.
You mentioned the Crystal Palace lads, Martin, spending a night in the Midlands. Funny enough, I was at the Belfry knocking a wonderful shot down the 18th. I thought I was playing quite well, but there was this gallery suddenly arrived beside me. Who was it? The Palace lads were sliding down the 18th fair. We had a chat with John Salako and Ray Houghton, and they looked very relaxed. It was a beautiful sunny day.
Well, the same 4 officials tonight, headed by David Ellery, who played a full part in the flow of that splendid contest on Sunday. Last year's FA Cup final referee, of course, on the day when it's been announced that this year's final will be controlled by Gerald Ashby. Congratulations to him. Well, fans still coming into the ground. Crystal Palace not totally without support. And they will kick off. The second instalment of this semi-final is underway. Here's Gordon. Dowie. Quick ball forward by Pitcher. The times of the goals reflected the shape of the first game. Palace, when Dowie scored, had the better of the first half of normal time. United clearly superior in the second. Both sides scored in an evenly contested period of extra time. above Richard Shaw. Eric Young, who's had constant treatment since being caught, I think, by Mark Hughes in a skirmish very late on Sunday. He's been in the oxygen bubble that clubs use these days to try and hurry along nature's own healing process.
Mark, you're 35 years of age. You're playing in an FA Cup semi-final. You ain't going to let a knock keep you out. Trust me, oxygen tent, I'm not.
Eric, not so young.
I think one thing to look for, I noticed Steve Bruce has tried two already. I thought on Sunday Manchester United played a lot of balls in front of Crystal Palace, didn't really test them in behind them. I'm just wondering early on, will they try and get the ball over the top, in behind?
But linking up with Hughes, and Nicky Butt gives Reece Wilmot his first test of the evening.
He'll be thankful of that. Any nerves that certainly would have been there, there's no doubt there would have been nerves. This is just like a warm-up shot from lovely 1-2, but plays and moves, strikes it well enough. Reece Wilmot will be happy, that's straight at him.
Now got to deal with a back pass from Shaw. Just skipped up a little bit off the surface in that Crystal Palace penalty area. He's only played 3 minutes of first-team football for the club prior to tonight. And he's there again. Came on as a substitute in January for Nigel Martin at Nottingham Forest. John Salako. Cross comes Bruce, doesn't deal with it straight away. Armstrong herring in as well, and Schmeichel wasn't sure and took the sensible and safe option.
He may have gotten away with that, the goalkeeper, Mark, because certainly it wasn't a deliberate attempt from Steve Bruce to play the ball back. I think he's trying to cut out the through ball. The leg comes out there. Certainly not deliberate, but if you're a goalkeeper now, you can't take any chances.
It's also right, perhaps about the edge of the area as well, as he'd come out with his momentum and carried it out of the area. A long throw came from Salako. That could be a key factor tonight in both penalty areas, with Manchester United having scored from Gary Neville's ability to hurl it long to give us this replay tonight.
Well, you and I mentioned the fact that we didn't think it was a foregone conclusion, simply because Palace are good at the back. They've defended really well this season.
And here's Houghton. They've shown an ability to make chances, not always take them, certainly not in the league games.
That's a chance, man. Ray Houghton won't be happy with himself. With a wonderful opportunity to put pressure on, and what did he do? We talk about it, he hit the first defender.
Schmeichel comes. This is Pitcher. Got a couple of options on the right-hand side. Picks the more difficult pass and is now regretting it.
Well, he had three options for me. That was to bring it down and strike it goal, which I thought looked a good one when it arrived on. Play an easy ball to Ray Houghton and keep possession. And the third and the most difficult one was the one he chose.
Yes, and he spurned the shooting position. Of course, he was the player who scored wonderfully from that sort of range against Wolves in the quarter-final replay. Here's Giggs, who played very well in the first match. Butt is into the centre, and the ball bounces off Wilmot, but he's able to snare it easily at the second attempt.
Well, that's why they're encouraging Ryan Giggs to make diagonal runs, either across and through the middle, through inside right, or even in that case through the inside left channel, because he is naturally left-footed, and if he makes a run as well as he did there, kept himself onside, perfectly timed, then he could cause problems. Just didn't deliver the cross.
Headed forward by Gordon, but here's Ince. That's Lee Sharp making tracks with Patterson. Goalkeeper decided to leave it to the defender, and Darren Patterson scraped it away. Manchester United have a corner.
Well, they've got far more balls in behind the Palace defence in the opening 5 minutes than they did, I think, in the opening half hour on Sunday. They've turned them 2 or 3 times already.
Well, the extra dimension in the penalty area of Steve Bruce. That's Giggs going in. Eric Young made contact for Palace once and twice. Not unsure of where it was going to drop. Gets there in the end. Across goes Neville, who's maturing with every game, and is a very responsible young man. Keane. Flag up is against Lee Sharp. Sharp has had something of a mixed season, but Terry Venables saying that he was questioning Alex Ferguson as whether he might be available, Lee Sharp, for the last England squad. And one or two dropped out. It's always a vacancy, it seems, for a left-sided player at the highest level. That's the way Palace prefer it, for Young to make the headers. Long from Gordon, looking for Dowie. He's in fine fettle. Neville will encourage Palace, as they did have this capacity to make chances throughout the game. The two Manchester United goals, and two from dead ball situations to keep them alive in the cup. Shaw, who was Andy Gray's pick as man of the match on Sunday, and got a big bottle of champagne for that, which maybe got drunk on Sunday night.
The onus on the centre-half is spare, Martin, because with only Hughes up front, he'll get picked up either with Shaw or Young. I don't think there'll be too bothered whichever area he's in. But then the other centre-half has really got to be aware of runners, Butt and Keane in particular, from the midfield area, because it will be his responsibility to pick those runners up.
Nice turn from Ince. Keane supporting him. It's overhit. Roy Keane had some positional problems in the first game, playing as a centre-back. Not his first choice position by any means, but Alex Ferguson pressed into using him there. And I'm sure both managers glad that the game has got underway. And everyone can now concentrate on the football without ever forgetting what happened on Sunday. But here's Neville. Oh, Hughes had actually made a great run. Got no sort of pass. He pulled away from his marker.
I think Eric Young had a little chat with him. He makes a good run, but the ball isn't delivered, and we can see there he's quite clearly 4 or 5 yards offside. Linesman quite rightly he's just saying, get on with it, as you've got a goal kick anyway. But he wanted the ball delivered quickly from Gary Neville.
Giggs coming from a weakish kick from Wilmot. It was well after the match on Sunday that Crystal Palace actually realised, and Nigel Martin realised, that his finger was broken. Remember, it happened in the second minute. But out of tonight's game he was ruled, despite one or two emergency attempts, maybe to design some padding or come up with a protective glove to help him to play. But enter Reece Wilmot. Last club was Grimsby. He hasn't started a senior game until tonight for almost 2 years. Had a back injury which wrecked last season for him. He's been substitute this season. Sharp and Shaw. Keane. Irwin, Ince. Irwin again, Ince again. Shaw stuck in a foot, successfully laid off by Armstrong. Dowie chasing. Back with Neville. Ready to spot the very conspicuous industry of Nicky Butt in the Manchester United midfield. Alex Ferguson saying he just can't hold him back any longer. He's had him on the bench, he's been champing at the bit. On you go, son. is the message from Alex Ferguson tonight. It's over Shaw, and Hughes turned back into the defender, claimed that Shaw handled, but David Ellery didn't see it that way.
Well, he took it down in his chest. I just wondered for a minute if he ever thought of just nodding it on with his head here, Martin. Just taking it on, you can see he's ahead of Shaw, and just helping the pace on with a little flick and following it. But he wanted to get it down, and when Richard Shaw got a little fortunate.
Gordon coming across, and the pitch helped him then. The ball bounced rather straight up rather than running on to Ryan Giggs. Well, the area behind Wilmot's goal was so populated on Sunday. But Keane and Ince getting in each other's way. Good midfield pressure applied for Palace by Southgate. And now Gary Palister with his second booking of the season, and both of them have come against Crystal Palace in successive matches. Chris Armstrong's pace catching him out here. Andy?
Well, he's in the halfway line, he's got grass to run into. It reminds me an awful lot of the Alvin Martin tackle that took place at Upton Park recently, but fortunately this time the card's only yellow. But that's a little example of what Armstrong's capable of, Martin. If you get too close to him on the halfway line, he'll knock it into the grass and he'll just get after it. Especially that side, very strong that side.
Well, we've got a moment, Andy. Chris Armstrong, we talked about whether he miskicked the ball into the net on Sunday. He said it was off the toe, not the shin.
Was that?
But he did aim for the centre of the side of his foot, and he got it on the toe. So he said you were half right. Houghton's cross. Knocked out by Ince. But that's a fine ball for Sharp. First touch just took him a little wide. Back comes the willing Houghton. Corner.
I think the first goal holds the key, in my opinion, tonight. I think if United were to get it, it really would test Crystal Palace. Look at that, you don't often see that. Does that suggest an outswinger, Mark? No one in the 6-yard box.
It's certainly swung out. Palister was in there, but it's come off Southgate. Variation in the positioning this time with Hughes and Bruce in the goal area. Ince, Palister around the penalty spot. And Ince gets to it with plenty of power.
That was a lovely header. Can't fault the header. The accuracy's only fractionally out. Plenty targets in here, but Paul Ince, you wouldn't have imagined, would have been high up in the list of top targets. But he gets up, and he gets good power. No one on the post. Palace have left both posts unprotected. I always think that's a dangerous policy. That drops a yard to the right and it's 1-0.
Dowie out in a little infield. The ball was on for Armstrong. It's actually helped by the deflection off Irwin. Armstrong's early cross, difficult for Bruce to defend. It breaks here for Pitcher. Giggs. Sharp coming in. Henderson kept his eye on the ball.
That was a super opportunity, Martin. Palace break there with Chris Armstrong. He played a bad ball in. It really took all the attackers out the play, played behind them. But a better ball in, and he had 2 or 3 yellow shots, really flying in on it.
Goal for Southampton from Neil Shipperley, who of course started with Chelsea. Here's Giggs. And we brought the best out of Nigel Martin on Sunday from a not dissimilar position, but off target here against Reece Wilmot. Just to tell you that with some vital Premiership games being played around the country tonight, we'll be keeping you up to date with the scores as they happen. Here it's 0-0, Crystal Palace and Manchester United, semi-final replay, with Everton emphatically through to Wembley, waiting for winners from this match. Dowie. Fitness will also be a factor, you feel, tonight. Who's got the greater amount of fuel left in the tank? Sharp. It's a fine ball. It troubled Richard Shaw, and he did well to scrape it outside that near post.
Clever ball, Martin. Clever ball from Sharp.
They've certainly begun tonight, Manchester United, better than they did the first game. Dowie and Bruce. Comes back for Butt. Then for Giggs. Fine try. It's a goal kick.
That was a great strike. Great example. Striking a difficult ball. He had to let the ball come across his body. He got really good body shape. Look at this. He steps across that ball and then hits it with bend. Oh, dearie me. He thought for a moment that was sneaking in, didn't he? Ryan, I think he thought that's just nipping in the bottom corner. I'll give the goalkeeper credit. I think he was over for it.
17 goals last season, Ryan Giggs, but only 4 this season. It hasn't been for the want of trying.
I think you're right, it's been a better start from the FA Cup holders tonight, Mark, but I think the major difference has been more direct. It's almost as if they've said, we're going to get the ball forward a little bit quicker. I thought they were too patient on Sunday in the opening half hour.
Well, it's a poor clearance from Neville. Dowie. Houghton's in the thick of things. Dowie takes it on, strikes Palister. This is Southgate, no one wide of him, no time to control. Ince was on him in a flash. He runs on ahead of Sharp. Shaw times the tackle beautifully. That's the mobility of Richard Shaw to get there in the first place.
As Alan Smith calls it, he's got a low centre of gravity, which does take him about the football pitch.
Palister. Dean Gordon goes across, deals with the danger. Well, Crystal Palace certainly going to be out-shouted here by the Manchester United fans. But it's not unusual for Palace to be in this predicament, and they've got a good away record. And this is like an away game being played on neutral ground.
This is very much like an away game for them.
Dowie.
But even the first 20 minutes, Martin, have shown what they're strong at. They've got good discipline at the back. Most of the trouble for Reece Wilmot has been from long range. United really haven't got themselves in and around the 18-yard box with any great conviction at the moment, and that's a credit to Palace and the determination to defend. I think they've been a little bit cautious in the start, Palace, but whether that'll change as they grow confident and the scoreline stays as it is, well, we'll wait to see.
Well, of course, the craft of Cantona is not available, and well, there's so much gossip going on about Eric's future may never be available for Manchester United again, although the club certainly aren't saying that at the moment. There's the thrust, the turbocharged pace of Andrei Kanchelskis, which is another player to manage a difficult situation for Alec Ferguson at this time. Many a club, even one as gifted as Manchester United is in the depth of its squad, would miss those two.
I think so.
Andy Cole, who can turn a game in a twinkle with a piece of opportunities in the penalty area, who was signed after he played in the FA Cup for Newcastle. I think Crystal Palace came away from the match on Sunday believing they didn't have that much to fear if they went about their job, but that's a big if. Alan Smith's very strong on strategy, the players know exactly what's expected of them. Performing under this particular pressure is always fraught with potential difficulty. Here's Palister. Keane, it's Southgate and Pitcher who stuck to their guns pretty well on Sunday, but Southgate losing out there to Butt's challenge. Sharp's cross, they're short of numbers right in the centre, plenty coming from deeper, like Keane, like Ince. Here's Giggs with licence to roam. It's Sharp, but there was some shoving to clear the way for him. Manchester United hoped by Hughes.
You mentioned Cantona, Martin. I can't help thinking it was a little instance that we've just seen this piece of play when Manchester United are faced with what they are. Two banks of four, really determined and disciplined defenders at that stage. I think they just miss the ability of Cantona to pick out that special pass, to produce that special piece of magic that really only he can do at Manchester United, I would suggest. And that shouldn't surprise anyone that United are dominating the possession in this match. Again, it's very much like Sunday. When they lose the ball, Crystal Palace, they're just dropping off. The two wide midfield players, Salako and Houghton, are dropping in. And it does make it difficult. Teams work at training in this. Manchester United will have worked against four midfield players and four defenders so many times in training, breaking them down, playing against them. And it is difficult.
By Bruce, headed forward though by Pitcher. Pitcher had to pop off to the doctors on Tuesday to be checked out for this tonsil problem. And that wasn't going to keep him from participating where he faced Manchester United last season in the colours of Charlton in the quarter-final. Schmeichel pulls it away, back where it came from, towards Salako. Miss hit, but it dropped for Gordon. Positive header from Bruce. Hold up play from Hughes. Pressure put on by Armstrong. Nothing easy for Manchester United to bring it forward. They keep it with Palister, but not for long. Salako, a little bit of space. Chance to take on Neville, perhaps. That's there to help him out. It spins away off Nicky Butt for a corner.
Thought Gary Neville played John Salako really well on Sunday. He really didn't give him much of a chance.
Up comes Eric Young. The best part of 25 minutes gone. That's Dowie! Well, no one ran with him.
I don't care what anyone says, that's a chance in my book. In a game of this, he missed a very important header on Sunday. Now look, he's on, no one near him, absolutely no one. Now he's one of the strongest headers of the ball. You would have him earmarked, I'm sure, before they even come out here tonight. Probably not his strongest side coming from there. Well, that wouldn't have made the header an easy one. But I still think you've got to hit the target at least when you get a free header.
Armstrong out, saw the run, came from Pitcher. Bruce saw the ball. Keane. Sure again, not just winning it, but making sure Palace retain possession. And the second time, fine ball up to Dowie, who's kept it in play. Now Armstrong's got a chance to go here. Well, Paul Ince knew there was a problem because he was on site very quickly.
I think he was a little unlucky that the ball didn't come down from Armstrong.
Well, as we've been saying, many thought Sunday was Crystal Palace's chance. Deprived of a couple of defensive stalwarts tonight, deprived of the majority of their support. Alan Smith's side have made a very committed start here to the replay. Two to take on. Ince has given it away. Oh, and had that been played with a little bit more accuracy by Pitcher, United might have found themselves in more serious trouble.
Well, I'm not quite sure he got caught in between looking for Ian Dowie and looking for Chris Armstrong, but John Salako had a wonderful position, and that's who he's calling to. I think John was just saying, why didn't you look to switch it? So one thing I enjoy about this job, Mark, you see every single picture. I wish I could have had a picture like this when I played.
Did you say picture or pitcher? Making United hurry, and there's no relaxed build-up from the back being allowed here. There's no challenge on the ball as it drops. Shaw's header. Gordon. Giggs was there quickly, but Dean Gordon's under instructions only to take at most 2 touches at left back. Dowie was jumping with an arm up.
Well, he's got his eye on the ball, you can see that quite clearly there. There is a difference, Mark, in jump with the arm up and leading with it. Both are. Let's look at Gary Neville, he's doing exactly the same. I sometimes think that's something referees don't realise, is when players who are jumping are just leading with the arm. It certainly wasn't an elbow or nothing like it.
Irwin. It's a corner. Well, Crystal Palace might beware the opposing left-back. It was Lee Martin in that position that won the FA Cup final in 1990 between these two clubs. Mark Hughes, his books. Let's assess the corner first of all. That's Bruce! Manchester United are in front in this semi-final for the first time, and Steve Bruce marks his comeback with a thumping header past Reece Wilmot.
Well, Darren Patterson's the one caught with Bruce. Now watch this, the difference here is Bruce made that his. The young defender didn't attack it, now he should have done. He's caught with Bruce, they're going to attack it and you'll win it, son. He didn't do that, but I tell you what, Steve Bruce gave a great example of wanting to win a header. He put himself in there, look at that. Body into it, everything. And that's what made the difference. He was more determined than the man marking him.
Well, it's not the first time in this cup run that a corner kick has served Manchester United well. Remember the way they started against Leeds in the 5th round, and Bruce was an important factor, and that flew in. With just half an hour gone, Crystal Palace's courage and character will be tested here. Manchester United twice behind on Sunday, but now in the position where they want to be. They lead Crystal Palace by the first goal of the replay. And Steve Bruce yet again has come up trumps with his bravery and bravado when competing for a corner kick.
Well, now they can be patient. That important breakthrough. I mentioned at the weekend, Martin, that when Palace were in front, they're not the type of side that can take the heat out of a game by keeping possession. But now Manchester United can pop passes about. Now there's no need for this urgency. They've made the breakthrough, they can suck them forward if they want, and then, when it's right, doesn't get it right there, but when it's right, look to play the ball over the top.
Southgate. Well, Schmeichel let it go over. Whether he realised he wasn't ever going to reach it.
He gets in a lovely position, Gareth Southgate. I think he mishits this a little as well. It's going away from, rather off his foot a little bit. It's dipping all the time. And I don't think there's an awful lot Peter Schmeichel could have done about this. You see that, it just slides off the top of his foot. Then it's trying to come down. The goalkeeper's absolutely stranded and it's only a foot over.
Houghton, who slipped it through so intelligently for Southgate.
Just thinking back to the corner, Martin, I think Darren Patterson, what he was looking for, I don't know if Ian Dowie's job at corners is to defend and to mark Steve Bruce, but he was absolutely nowhere in sight. He was caught up the pitch for some reason and wasn't back defending. Now I don't know whether that was why maybe Darren Patterson didn't defend it as well as he should, but sometimes you don't always get it right at set pieces and you have to adjust quickly. He was there to defend it, he really should have defended it better, I felt.
There's Dowie. Bruce has it away. Well, let's get a word from Nick Collins. Nick.
Well, Martin, if you wondered about the marking at that corner, here's the reason. Ian Dowie's job was to mark Steve Bruce. He was having treatment from the physio because his contact lens had fallen out. The Palace bench was shrieking at him to get back into the penalty area to mark Bruce, but he couldn't get there in time.
Well, that's the total story of why Crystal Palace believe it all went wrong. But let's say again, Steve Bruce, who we were congratulating really for the fact that this was going to be a replay and he would have a chance to play in the semi-final. He said, I'd much rather have been going straight to Wembley if the lads had won it without me. He's put them on the right lines here. Well, Chelsea in more difficulties now. Matt Letitia to add to Neil Shipley's opening goal at Stamford Bridge. Those matches involving the teams at the bottom of the table in the Premiership tonight, of course, of great interest to Crystal Palace, who have 8 league games to go, and Alan Smith's always said his main priority to retain the spot in this division. Cup runs, and there have been a couple of them, of course. Just the bonuses. But should be Wilmots. Roy Keane forced him into a save that was a bit more difficult than it first looked as though it might be. Sure. It's been the regular route, of course, for Manchester United in their recent FA Cup successes via a replay in the semi-final. Free kick. Dowie. Allison was right in the centre. It's hooked away. Either Schmeichel didn't call. Steve Bruce swept it out. picture. Salaka got a good angle here. Comes for Houghton. Corner given.
Well, this is just what was needed from Alan Smith's team, Martin. A little bit of pressure on Manchester United, just to make them believe that they can get back into this game.
Well, Dowie was complaining that he was fouled. It's a corner conceded by Gary Neville in the nick of time for Manchester United.
He's unlucky, Gareth Southgate. But he managed to control this just half a yard nearer his body, when he would certainly have gotten a strike on goal.
But making sure it didn't get to the head of Patterson. Using his long throw. Dowie is penalised. But even going back to the Ian Dowie delay when he was trying to get his contact lens sorted out to get back, of course David Ellery helped by booking Mark Hughes, but they still got the corner in time, Manchester United.
Yeah, it's just this area here, Mark, we've got to concentrate on now as a corner comes in, and just watch what happens as Bruce makes a run round the back here. Now watch him, he comes in this way. Now there he goes. Now Palace is in front at that moment in time as they make contact, and I just think had he gone and met the ball of defender, Steve Bruce couldn't have gotten in front of him, but Bruce was very determined to make it his.
Southgate and goes short. Palister. It's nicely done by Wilmot to react to the bounce. Salaka. John Salako, what's that for is the question. We can have a look at what the referee spotted.
Well, he lost control just here, just a little bit away from him, under pressure, and Lee Sharp just nicks it back, and that's what it's for. Quite simple.
It's not the usual way John Salako gets booked. He said on Sunday that maybe there's not enough devil in his game. Keane, who of course has been playing plenty of devil with him, he's been playing through the pain for some time now. This will have gone before Southgate went in.
He's definitely got a problem, man. He went into a 50-50, a real block challenge in the centre of the park. Whether it's just shaking him up a little bit. Yeah, he's moving a little bit better now.
It's more news from Nick Collins.
Well, Martin, Roy Keane might not only be struggling with that injury, but he's also got problems with his shorts. The strings keep coming down, and he's had to ask for a new pair to be sent from the dressing room.
Hughes trying to unnerve Wilmot.
Can you imagine, Martin, if the scoreline stays the same? How was this semi-final settled, lads? On the replacement of a contact lens, because Ian Dowie wasn't back to mark the man he should have been.
Foul by Shaw. Well, that time even Richard Shaw's speed of recovery wasn't enough. Dennis Irwin had timed his run well. It's a free kick. And now Ian Dowie is marking Steve Bruce. Palister is free and it's 2-0.
the two centre-backs have really made them pay for some poor defending. I cannot believe for the life of me that the most dangerous man they've got gets a free header. He loses Gareth Southgate, to be fair, brilliantly. That's a superb run, worthy of the best strikers in the game. You watch the way he takes him forward, skips in behind him, and that's a towering header, it really was. Look at that, he's pulled behind Gareth Southgate, lost him totally. I've done him an injustice. That was super play from Palister. Fantastic run and a great header.
Well, Gary Palister, whose goal made this replay possible in Manchester United's time of need in extra time when they were trailing 2-1, has scored here to suggest that the holders are going back to Wembley again. Crystal Palace have now, over the 2 games, conceded all 4 goals from set pieces, and that will really stick in the throat of Aaron Smith and David Kemp on the bench there.
But I have to say, having seen it again, Mark, it was a super run from Gary Palister, it really was. You often talk to players about when you want it somewhere, go one way and then pull them the other. Palister did that beautifully, but it wasn't all finished then. He still had to get very well up, generate power in the header, and find the accuracy as well. He did all 3.
And quite literally, Manchester United are heading, you feel, towards the FA Cup final again.
Well, I felt it was imperative that Crystal Palace got to half-time without conceding a second goal. They were 4 minutes away from achieving that. I think then they may still have stood a chance. If they are to get back into the game, Martin, they really do need a goal, if not before half-time, very quickly after it.
Here's Butcher. Keane goes to the left. Sharp's in the centre this time. Owen.
Well, Manchester United got such a scare on Sunday, whether it's, as Andy's been saying, a more direct approach tonight, a more committed approach, even the fact that they're wearing their red shirts. They are looking
Well, we can have a look at the goal, Martin, again. It's this area here where Gary Palister is, but he makes his run forward and then he pulls him back, and it's the way he does that. Look at that, he's in behind him, lost him totally. That's a super goal.
And there's some evident frustration here from Crystal Palace. Eric Young also goes into the book. Here's Neville. Poland's happy to go down when he made contact with Ian Gary. He's got his free kick. Whether David Ellery wants to bring the 2 of them together here, it looks like it. Paul Nixon, incidentally, was booked on Sunday for dissent, and I suspect that means a 1-game suspension. Sunday, in fact, the last day when bookings to take players over 21 points and over 31 points actually count. So maybe Paul was a bit lucky, unlucky rather. He's not got another card here. But that's his style, really. He's a terrier in the tackle, but he was late there.
Well, the tempo of the game's been good in this opening 45 minutes, Mark. It's been so much better than Sunday. They really picked the pace of the game up straight from the off. But still, Palace in general have defended quite solidly. 2 set pieces yet again they've played.
Well, Gary Palister, amazing that he got 2 bookings in these 2 games, but 2 goals. For a player who usually leaves it really to Steve Bruce to gain the honours at the set pieces. He's getting the taste. Well, no Cole, no Cantona, no Kanchelskis, but it matters not when you've got committed defenders like Steve Bruce who will go upfield and butt the ball into the opponent's net, and Gary Palister following the example, and Manchester United go off here at half-time in very good shape indeed. Palace ruining the reasons that they conceded the goal from the 2 set pieces. They are 2-0 down at Villa Park at half-time.
Now half-time at Villa Park. Palace 0, Manchester United 2. They've had 7 attempts at goal, 4 of them on target. Palace 3. They haven't hit the target yet. 5 corners to Manchester United, 4 for Palace. 18 fouls, 4 booked. Despite that, Hughes and Palister from Manchester United, Solako and Young of Crystal Palace. Possession 60% to Manchester United. Ball in play 25 minutes and 20 seconds from nearly 47 that we've played. The action area is 50% in that middle third there, 31% of it in Palace's defensive third. The crowd, incidentally, there's been a lot of talk about how many would come. Just under 18,000, 17,900 in the ground now. Just over 14,000 at kickoff. 14,000, incidentally, of that 19,000 Manchester United support, just over 3,000 from Crystal Palace. So the boycott, it seems, that Mr. Nodes, the Crystal Palace chairman, was asking for, has indeed worked. It's the lowest post-war crowd, 25,000 previous, just over 18,000, nearly 19. Our guest here this evening is Joe Royle, the manager of Everton, who of course have already secured their place in the final. And do you think you'll be playing Manchester United, Joe?
Well, it looks like it at this stage. Palace have got to do something very quickly. They need a goal very quickly to get back into it. Otherwise, United will play the half out possession-wise, and they look capable of getting more goals.
When we looked at the odds on the first to score earlier, I think you fancied either Steve Bruce or Gary Palister, didn't you? And it turned out to be Bruce.
Yeah, so well, they both look good value, didn't they? And Dennis Irwin also, considering they scored 2 from set plays on Saturday. And here you see again, Bruce attacks the ball with terrific aggression. Nobody was going to get in his way. And there's only one place that's going.
Great header, great outcome for Manchester United. Palace were desperately unlucky that Ian Dowie was getting attention at the time for a contact lens he lost. He should have been marking Bruce, shouldn't he?
Yes, but they've been caught short anyway on both goals. There's only really Eric Young with the size to deal with Palister and Bruce if Dowie's not around. And the second one similar again. Palister, for all his size, has virtually a free header.
Set piece again. That's the last 4 goals Manchester United have scored have come from set pieces.
Well, I think you'll find if you look statistically, big games are won by set pieces or a mistake. And this one's certainly no exception. Reece Wilmot in the goal actually hasn't had a save to make apart from pick 2 out the net. It's been a strange game that United have dominated, particularly down the left flank, but he hasn't had too many shots to save.
Palister there did what you said Bruce did, lost his marker and then got his header in on target.
Well, that's it, and as I say now, at 2-0 up, United can relax a little bit, pass it around even more, and Palace have got to do something very quickly. They've got to get Solako into the game somehow or other, or Armstrong running down the channels, and at the moment, every time the ball bounces, Ince and Keane are winning it, and they just can't get into the game.
And when they get chances, and they had enough on Sunday, of course, they've had a couple tonight. Ian Dowie putting that header wide that Andy said he would have fancied, and you, presumably. when they get chances, they've got to take them, haven't they? Should he have hit the target here?
Yes, he should certainly hit the target, and I think Ian Dowie will know that himself. He is coming across the ball a little bit and meeting it, but nevertheless, he's an accomplished header of the ball, and he will be disappointed he hasn't hit the target there.
So if they want to get back into this game, they need a goal, and quickly.
They need it quickly, because the longer it goes on, United will just keep possession, which they have done for 45 minutes anyway. They keep servicing this left side of the park, putting Sharp free, trying to get in behind them on that side. So much so that Giggs has really had the ball, really. He'll be hoping at half-time that they switch flanks, I'm sure, but Alex won't do that.
Is there a better balance about Manchester United tonight?
Well, he likes his three in the middle. He brings them in and then pushes two wide men to really stretch the opposition. Of course, Mark Hughes plays up front on his own better than anyone in the business, so they can do that.
2-0 to Manchester United here in this FA Cup semi-final replay. Of course, United at Villa Park, and the football's coming thick and fast at the moment. Big Easter weekend, of course. On Good Friday at 3 o'clock, we've got Crystal Palace against Tottenham live. And on the same day, later that day, 7 o'clock, Everton against Newcastle United from Goodison Park. Vital games for both Crystal Palace and Everton. And on Monday, another big one for both these clubs. Blackburn Rovers, with their eyes on the title, of course, and Manchester City, who are having a terrible time at the moment. 7 o'clock Monday, Blackburn against Manchester City. It's a rare old tussle at the bottom, Joe, isn't it?
Well, I think even there are one or two sides in the top half of the division who are still mathematically not safe. 42, 43 points at the moment is nowhere near safe.
What do you think is?
I think we've all got to aim for 50, but it might be a little bit less than that, even around about 48.
Because clubs keep beating each other down
That's
the
right.
bottom end.
The loss of the fixtures to come, sides against each other, like tonight with Chelsea and Southampton.
Incidentally, crowd figures tonight, which I may have got confused with myself a little bit earlier, nearly 18,000 in the stadium now, 17,987, nearly 14,500 of those from Manchester, just over 3,000 from Crystal Palace. So the boycott that Crystal Palace were calling for seems to have worked here tonight. But how would you explain away the lack of the Manchester United supporters, Joe?
I think that the tickets are expensive. If you're talking about the first semi-final that we had, you know, the tickets were up to £38, as low as 12, but mostly £38. Now, if a father brings a son and maybe his wife, it's a very expensive day out. So I think the replays are traditionally not as well supported.
£2.50 as well for a programme, which, without being too harsh, is not that much different to Sundays that they're produced here.
Well, I haven't seen the programme here.
We'll give you a chance to have a flick through that, incidentally. The lowest post-war semi-final crowd, around about the 25,000 mark when Wimbledon played Luton. But this, of course, beats it here tonight, where Manchester United are leading Crystal Palace by 2-0, and you believe on their way back to Wembley?
Well, it looks like it. United aren't exactly famous for throwing away 2-goal leads, and Palace have got to do something fairly dramatic very quickly to get back into it. But at the moment, United have got one foot in the door, haven't they?
How would a defeat here tonight affect Crystal Palace in the league?
Well, I don't know, really. It was special circumstances at Oldham last year. We had a number of players injured that we couldn't replace. Our pitch was totally bare of grass, which made it hard for us to play on it, and we just got into a bad run. But Alan Smith will be saying the opposite, you know, that this could spur them on to go and survive now, so who knows?
Well, he's got to say that, hasn't he? But,
well, he has. I mean, we all say the right things, but
it's different putting them into practice, isn't it?
Yes.
Crystal Palace trailing 2-0. That's not a bad forward line, is it? United would like to field that right now, wouldn't they? Cantona, Cole and Giggs. Will we ever see Eric Cantona again in a Manchester United jersey? Those discussions continue, of course, at Old Trafford. Skipper got the first goal, Steve Bruce, Gary Palister the second, and Manchester United are in charge. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. On the subject of Crystal Palace's priority of staying in the Premiership, they do feel that playing tonight will help them. Alex Ferguson also supports this view that they can now go to Blackburn, which is a week tomorrow, instead of having to cram 4 fixtures into the last 9 days of the season. So 2-0 to Manchester United. Whatever your view on the decision of the Crystal Palace board to urge the fans to boycott tonight's match, it's left the players with the backing of, at best, a fifth of Sunday's support. David Ellery wanting the new Match ball for the second half. Seems to be happy with this one. Well, Manchester United, you feel, on their way to what would be their 13th FA Cup final, which would set a new record. 45 minutes to go. Crystal Palace determined, if they can, to really make a game of it in the second half. The lack of capacity for goals is far more evident in the Premiership than it is in cup ties, so they shouldn't be ruled out. Chris Armstrong with 10 goals in 10 games in knockout competitions. Hughes, who was booked just before that first Manchester United goal for dissent. Here's Gordon. Southgate's gone through the centre. And doing well against Armstrong. Well, Darren Patterson goes up before the FA tomorrow for passing 41 points. He could have been in trouble with David Ellery here.
He does hack round him a little bit. Sharp's shielding the ball, and he's saying he won the ball, but you can see he took Lee Sharp's right leg first.
Seems to have played more games at Villa Park for Crystal Palace than he did for Aston Villa over the last couple of months of his time as a player here before the transfer. Dowie. Nick Collins has got some news for us, Nick.
Martin, it's amazing that Roy Keane has come out for the start of the second half. His right ankle is heavily bandaged. The reason for that, he's had 7 stitches in his ankle and come back out for the second half. Alex Ferguson reckons he'll probably only last about 10 minutes, but he didn't want to be substituted at half-time.
Well, Keane, the ex-boxer, you just can't knock out.
Well, he is limping, he's carrying it. You can see that when you look at him running, Mark. I don't think he'll waste much time, Alex, in getting him off.
Armstrong. That was a little cruel to him. Good defending by Irwin. Pitcher. But Giggs is away, and Butt as well. Well, the idea was to get it forward early, but not where the ball finally dropped from Nicky Butt. Well, it was touch and go between Keane and McClare as to who would start the game alongside Butt and Ince in Manchester United's midfield. Salaka. Goal from Palace. A shape could change, and a mistake between Schmeichel and Palister, which has led to the sort of inquest we've seen before between the Danish goalkeeper and his centre-backs when things don't quite go according to plan. Southgate pumping it into Palister, breaks for Sharp. Sharp on the chase. Young, those long legs. That was a miss kick by Wilmot. Pitcher. Armstrong. Just nudging Irwin out of the way, and the referee spotted it. Brian McClare getting ready to come on to replace Roy Keane. Nicky Butt is limping as well.
Well, he's just signalled Roy Keane, he doesn't want to come off, he's given it 5 more minutes. I can't see the sense in that, man. He's been limping continually in this opening 5 minutes. And if he's got 7 stitches in a foot, he certainly isn't doing it any good. He's side at 2-0 up. Brian McClare's ready and waiting to come on. Job done for him, I would suggest, and get off and rest it.
I think we're going to have to lap lasso him and drag him off. Paul Scholes is the other substitute, and as I was mentioning, Mickey Butt is limping, so Nick Ferguson, who's got important Premiership games coming up. Manchester United certainly haven't given up on the league title chase. They hope Leeds will do them a favour against Blackburn on Saturday. Wilmots got there and help was on hand. Dowie. Armstrong. Comes back to Chris Armstrong again. Solako's in the centre now. And Gareth Southgate was there as well. And that was as much concern as we've seen around the Manchester United goal for some time.
It was the best break they've had of the match.
Solako with the throw. And that by Neville. Nicely taken by Giggs. He's off against Houghton. There's only one winner here. But back comes Gordon. Giggs keeps it splendidly. Wonderful play from Ryan Giggs. Sharp. Second time. Andy Hughes really there in the centre.
It might just open up the game totally now. There's no way back for Crystal Palace unless they start to push men forward. They just feel they have to do that, Mark, even if they overcommit at times and leave just 1 against 1, 2 against 2 at the back. They've got to make something happen for them pretty quickly. And they're not going to make that happen by keeping a solid 4 at the back when they've only got Mark Hughes or 2 up front. They've got to push full-backs forward a little bit more.
Nicely steered off by Armstrong. Southgate. Well, Roy Keane has lit the fuse here, and a real explosion of emotion. 1 or 2 Manchester United players, notably Irwin, believing that Southgate made more of that than was necessary. Southgate seemed to me to expect Keane to go over the top.
I think Darren Patterson's in trouble as well, Martin. Roy Keane's definitely in trouble. I don't think there's any doubt of that. For the initial tackle, and then for what happened after it. It's now down purely to the referee's interpretation of what he saw.
When the players have even more responsibility to set the right example. But in the heat of the battle, Crystal Palace seeing the semi-final ebbing away. Roy Keane, for whom every contest is a cup tie, but he's off. Keane is sent off. Now what's going to happen for Patterson here? Well, they could have taken Keane off. And how he would regret now that he didn't go when Alex Ferguson wanted to make that change and just substituted for the injury. He's out of this game and he will have a suspension to serve, which might affect the league programme. Andy.
Now this is attack. The ball's down and look how high Roy Keane is. That's ridiculously high, Martin. Now I don't have to say any more. But it's
Patterson's
after
off
this.
as well.
There he comes in. Now Southgate's in trouble. That's a terrible tackle. There's the stamp. If the referee's seen all that, we could have 3 players off, Martin.
In came Patterson there.
That's why he's gone off.
So Patterson, who, as I said a moment or 2 ago, goes up to the Football Association tomorrow. He's already passed 41 points. And he will... Now, Alan Smith's supposed to argue that case. But what can he say when this has happened tonight? Now, Southgate stays. Or does he? David Ellery, yes.
Well, he's given a decision, a free kick for Manchester United. Well, I think Gareth Southgate's a lucky boy. Certainly the tackle he put in Roy Keane. I've seen people booked for that type of tackle. I think it's a combination that's seen the end of Roy Keane tonight. First of all the tackle, then the reaction.
Sharp has sure slipped. Wonderful save by Wilmot. Well, the end of the skirmishing and back to the skill from Sharp and from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's great skill from Sharp here to control that difficult ball. Inside Shaw, drills it near post. You would expect the goalkeeper to save that.
It's a set piece, it's Ince, it's Hughes, and maybe the whistle had already gone.
Yeah. Looks like he's given it against Paul Ince. Certainly that's the area of the pitch the referee's going over to. They will see it here. I don't know, Mark, he hasn't done an awful lot wrong for me there. There's always going to be a tangle of arms with people jumping. It looked like a good clean jump from Ince.
Now it's 10 aside in the FA Cup semi-final replay. I thought they should have had a handball there. Shaw's got a problem against Sharp again. Mark Hughes making tracks into the centre. Giggs arriving as well. And Butt. Deep cross from Sharp, looking for Hughes. Wonderful piece of retrieving from Mark Hughes. Butt. Ince! Straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, I've no doubt the game's going to fly from end to end now. Palace have committed 3 up top. John Salako isn't interested in doing any defending at all. I think that's the right decision if you're chasing the game. I'm just a little bit sad that incident took place, Mark. The game didn't deserve that. Never looked like it was going to boil over at all this game. It'd been played in the right way.
Let me remind you all, of course, that the previous Manchester United player to be sent off was Eric Cantona at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. But this at a time when football has to be on its guard, where the game needs strong leadership, and behaviourally the players have to do their best to set the best sort of example on the pitch. But certainly the skill has taken over again, and how there have been some wonderful touches from Sharp and another there from Hughes. And there's certainly room for the attacking aspects of both sides to express themselves now. Play on, says David Ellery. To Ince in particular, it's over from Hughes.
Well, for the players who can run with the ball, Martin, that the Giggs is and the Sharps in view, I mean, it's a dream for them now. There's going to be so much grass and space for them. The game's so spread. If you want a player who likes to get the ball and go up players, it's made for you now.
The Sharps, the Giggses, maybe the Armstrongs, maybe the Solakos.
Well, that's certainly what Alan Smith will be hoping.
Here's Dowie. And ball. David Ellery is a referee who doesn't shirk responsibility, showing the red card to 2 Irishmen, one from the north, one from the south, Darren Patterson and Roy Keane.
There's no doubt that was a referee's nightmare. So much happened, Martin, it was impossible for him to see it all. I think the 2 players that went don't have an argument, in my opinion. I think Gareth Southgate's the lucky one.
Well, Ryan Giggs goes off. Maybe Nick Collins can fill us in on that. On comes Brian McClare. Never complains when he's left out, as he was initially tonight. And of course, Palister and Bruce are up. Pitcher. Armstrong, this is the area where he can be so effective. The defender is Irwin. Palace flooding players into the centre, and Schmeichel needed to be absolutely sure with that save. Otherwise, if it popped out, Solako would have tapped Crystal Palace back into the semi-final.
Wasn't an easy one to get hold of, just stepping in front of the goalkeeper. not a bad ball in. It's in a decent area, but it just gets it before it bounces, and that made all the difference to the goalkeeper. Well, I thought the game was dead and buried, Martin, for Palace. I think at 11 aside, United looked so assured, but you can never tell now. Player off each.
Bruce.
I think the reason they brought on Brian McClare was to give them that extra man in midfield, not the three. They'll now operate with Buttons and McClare, and Sharp will help Mark Hughes as much as possible.
But I say again, how Alex Ferguson must be regretting that he gave Roy Keane that licence to stay on in the early minutes of the second half, when a substitution seemed certain to happen, and a sending off was the last thing on anyone's minds. It hadn't been that sort of game.
Well, I know he's a strong character, Roy, and he wants to play, as you said, Mark, but when you hear that he had 7 stitches in a foot, you know, it's not an area that you really can protect when you're playing football. You know, it did seem strange that he comes out at all.
Alex Ferguson has used those qualities. This is it!
Good strike, super strike.
I was going to say Alex Ferguson has used Roy Keane's willingness to play through the pain, and I suppose in the end there was always a risk it would backfire. But this is Paul Ince letting it fly.
Lovely strike. Almost deceived the goalkeeper. Almost overcommitted to his right.
Ray Houghton to take the free kick. This is Gordon. Let's hear from Nick Collins again. Nick.
Martin, we had a quick word with Ryan Giggs as he headed for the treatment room. He came off because he's got a hamstring problem. That was the reason for the substitution.
There you have it. And this is the player who came on, Brian McClare. Like so many of this Manchester United side, with so much FA Cup experience. Well, there was no way it was going to be a straightforward second half, even with those 2 goals banked. Crystal Palace were going to be committed with nothing to lose, and Steve Bruce, as you can see, is cut. Ryan Giggs off with that hamstring strain. Roy Keane sent off. Manchester United play on Saturday at Leicester, who gave them a pretty good game at Old Trafford. Wonders whether Alex Ferguson will try and resume the sort of negotiations that seem to be necessary to get Andrei Kanchelskis to play. Cole will be available. Here's Salaka. In goes Gary with the goalkeeper. And Pitcher as well. Gary Neville is hurt.
That was an easy take in the end for Peter Schmeichel. Hoisted up, plenty of air. Fully expected him to come and take it, and he did. Well, nothing new for Steve there, a little bit of blood trickling down the side of the face. Well, this is a ball's crossed in. You see at the top of the screen, Ian Dowie and Gary Neville clashing there.
Well, Steve Bruce has come back with the goal, a romantic part of this evening. Gary Palister doing an important job again with the second goal, but you know what's going to make the headlines about the semi-final that started in a subdued atmosphere the replay rather. And Graham Kelly will have to field some more questions. But the incident, out of character really with the rest of the game, but requiring firm refereeing, and David Ellery stood up to his responsibilities in what was a very difficult situation for him to work out exactly who got involved in the brawl that followed the initial challenge between Southgate and Keane that caused all the ill feeling. Now, with blood being spilt here, Steve Bruce is going to have to get patched up, and he's presumably going to have to go off the pitch, is it?
I think we just want to wipe it, Martin, just to get it off the face. Always very conscious when there's an open wound like that and blood is seeping out of it.
But in the World Cup, when we were told that that type of instruction was going to happen this season, players were immediately removed from the playing area to get the sort of attention. It's very minor, as you say, compared to what Steve Bruce has been, and that nose bears witness to that. Been through in the past.
He almost felt embarrassed, Steve, there, didn't he, when I was having it wiped? Get off, let me get on with this.
It's not the first time, of course, players have been sent off in semi-finals. Brian Kidd was sent off here, playing for Everton, the Manchester United assistant manager back in 1980. Maybe he'll have a consoling word or two for Roy Keane. Here's Sharp. Sharp's cross. Hughes to ride it back from Leclerc. Flags up against Lee Sharp. He was just in behind Richard Shaw when the ball was played. In the mind of the linesman, Ollie Pearson, who did officiate as a linesman in those World Cup finals in the United States. To the halfway point in the second half. Crystal Palace doing far better in terms of possession, but they haven't yet made an impression on the scoreline. Armstrong. Irwin. Offside. Southgate's ball forward to Salako. Quick free kick from Manchester United. It's a ball on to the right-hand side, which Ince is spotted. Is pretty much inch perfect to Leclerc.
United know they don't have to do anything more, Mark, than just make sure they don't concede a stupid goal.
Sharp trying to control it, but it bounced away to Richard Shaw. Southgate. On back fairly by Sharp. Southgate, I think, complaining they didn't get a call. Hughes. Leclerc. Well, we've talked about the space. The problem now is to find the energy at this stage in this game, at this stage in this season, to exploit that space. Tiredness creeping in.
Well, the tired legs and tired minds, Mark, you're right, but I think the thing that keeps you going is what's at stake.
Now, did brilliantly. Armstrong. Might yet come for Southgate. It does! It's wide of Schmeichel, it's wide of the post. And that's Southgate expected it in the first place.
I think that's where it should have gone first place. It was always going to be difficult for Chris Armstrong to get a strike and goal. Nice ball played into him. Flick on, and I think Gary Palister is always in control. Not commit themselves, making it difficult. Tries to bend it. Looking to find that far corner.
Hughes. breaks on. And then Gordon gives the ball to him. Owen. 20 minutes to go, unless Crystal Palace find 2 goals to take it into extra time.
I think that says it all. If you don't make the goalkeeper make a save in 70 minutes, then the task in the last 20 is all the greater.
Touch on from Dowie, needs a lot of running to rescue it from Armstrong. He's prepared to put it in. And here he is. Only Southgate in the centre. To optimistic tries that Paul Nixon was pushing into the Crystal Palace captain there, but the game goes on, and here's Sharp. Hughes. Crystal Palace, not a team that plays an out-and-out offside game.
No, but they have to push up there.
Ray Houghton, still a great competitor. And to steer nice down the right lines. Sharp seen plenty of the ball since the game's become 10-a-side. Hughes. Southgate, 3 ahead of him in the yellow shirts. Well, Armstrong was trying to make the angle there, but Manchester United expected Southgate to look to the right-hand side. Twice he's on FA Cup winning sides with Liverpool. His cross, just a bit short of Dowie. Young. In a way, it was fortunate for Eric Young that he was fouled, because he would have been caught far out of position. Manchester United had been able to counter-attack. Still, the Palace fans, those who are here, call out to encourage in the hope that a recovery is not beyond Alan Smith's team. No further damage to the scoreline in the second half. Still threatening to pay a heavy price for conceding 2 goals at set pieces, and Salako on his weaker foot unable to supply a cross there. Sharp. Manchester United v Everton, 1995 at Wembley, as it was in 1985. It will take a major shift in the balance of power here for that not to materialise now. It's Wilmot scrambling down by his left-hand post, probably had it covered.
Darren Pitcher's just been bookmarked for the tackle that took place a couple of seconds ago when Paul Ince, referee, mental note of it as soon as the move broke down, just here. That's what he's been booked for, quite rightly as well. He's just had a hack at Paul Ince there, but he let play go on. Lovely 1-2, creates his own space.
Gordon. pretty efficient again, young Gary Neville at right back. Here's Houghton. Michael aware that he was able to knock it into that area to go and collect. And that was a safer option than going for the catch. Palister. Still going through the minds of the Palace players, I'm sure. If only we could get one goal.
I think they'd settle for one chance at the moment, the way the game's going, Mark, and hopefully take it. And they don't look likely to break down Manchester United, I have to say that. They look pretty solid, but in this game, well, it just takes a moment of individual brilliance or maybe a mistake.
Armstrong gets a throw. Decides to leave it for the long one from Salako. Held in towards Dowie. It never really looked like getting there. Now Young. Run here for Salako. Neville. Hughes comes across to try and help him. No need for Manchester United to flood forward in support. A measured look to the build-up, which continues. Back from Southgate. Extra time on Sunday for both teams. Palace, of course, play on Friday against Tottenham, which we will see live on Sky Sports. In the evening with Everton against Newcastle from the FA Carling Premiership. Hughes. Well, that's beautiful work by Manchester United against flagging Palace resistance. Owen, brilliant stop by Wilmot. The possession suddenly came to purpose for Alex Ferguson's team. Flying forward went Owen.
And when he gets forward, he's looking to pull it into his strong side. Not interested in Croy. He knows he's got lack of support really as well. It drives inside. Hits it super. It's straight at the goalkeeper. Dances past a couple. And brings out a good save.
Palister has stayed back at this stage. And you can hardly blame Manchester United for introducing just a little note of caution. Well, here's Dowie. And it's United's turn to chase back, but Palace, who were given an example really on how to break out by Manchester United just a moment or two ago, don't follow that example.
No, it was rather rushed by Ian Dowie. Didn't really give John Salako much of an opportunity.
Well, Alan Smith is going to use a double substitution. Ian Cox and Ricky Newman. Shaw. Dean Gordon. Oh, there's a bit of space here. There's a live intervention from Buck. He picked himself up and scurried forward. He's the furthest forward for Manchester United by some distance. The question, I guess, in Alan Smith's mind as to who best to take off. But suddenly Southgate's got it. And Owen's there again, Mr. Dependable. Schmeichel's kicking not quite so reliable, particularly on his left foot. Whether Hughes fouled in the first place, but certainly when the whistle didn't go, Young seemed to pull him back.
Certainly did.
Armstrong will get there. Dowie and Solarco in the centre. We will now get the double change for Crystal Palace. It's Ricky Newman. He's been in the side for long spells this season. And Ian Cox, who's really a novice at this level, but did play in the quarter-final replay against Wolves. And the number is up for Karen Pitcher, who has been ill with tonsillitis, and for Ian Dowie. So Solarco, who's been getting up front whenever possible, will surely stay up there to partner Armstrong now. Maybe going three at the back, Andy.
Well, I think they've been three at the back for a while now, Mark. And I think they'll stay that way, there's no doubt. It's pointless doing anything other than that.
Neville. What it might do, Gareth Southgate has been the sort of half, if you like, 3.5 at the back down the right-hand side. It might to get him into the centre a bit more. Ian Cox is naturally a right-sided player. No problems to Palister. Newman keeps the pressure on. Here's Cox. Back to Shaw. Won by Young. Solarco. Looked as though it might have been on target, but it didn't get very far. Steve Bruce in the way. The Palace fans claiming handball. Gordon, at least working the goalkeeper. A shot on target. Palace haven't been able to get that side of their game working. Leclerc. But it's to a spot of keep ball for Manchester United. And Irwin, a private game there that uses up a few more vital seconds. Houghton. Chris Armstrong is adjudged offside. Certainly doesn't waste any time contesting it.
Well, this is the first chance they've been so high up the pitch, but they hold the line quite well. Half a yard in it, but the right decision.
It's Leclerc. Well, the FA Cup has a seemingly limitless capacity to surprise, but you just can't see Manchester United letting it slip in this position with all success in recent times in the FA Cup. Paul Nixon has got a couple of winners' medals. Alex Ferguson, incidentally, who's been in charge twice when they've won this competition, as did the late Sir Matt Busby, as did Ron Atkinson. So now a third triumph within his grasp. Joe Royle will have plenty to say about that. Alec was saying when we told him Joe Royle was stuck in traffic coming to be our guest tonight, can you arrange for him to be stuck in traffic until May the 21st, which is the day after the FA Cup final?
He'll have a better drive on that day, Joe.
Not just have a police escort. 5 minutes to go, and huff and puff as they might, Crystal Palace haven't been able to blow Manchester United down in the second half. Shaw. Here's Hughes, Mountain's tackle, levels across. Marco has been booked. Just wondering whether the referee was going to say that was a dangerous, certainly late, but one felt that John went for the ball.
I think it's a type of tackle, Mark. If it's the second one and you've already been booked, you get away with it. If you haven't been booked, I think John would have found himself in the book there.
Well, Joe Royle will appreciate how Crystal Palace are feeling. Of course, his Oldham team last season went out to Manchester United in the same way and then went down. Palace will hope that they don't follow Oldham in that respect. Joe and Alec, great friends, but they're going to walk out side by side at Wembley next month. It's still in play. Wilmot stops it, reaching Hughes. Lee Sharpen made the run to the near post. He hasn't failed Crystal Palace tonight, Reece Wilmot.
No, he hasn't, man. He certainly couldn't fault him for any of the goals. He did well actually get a hand on Gary Palister.
Well, there's some good news for Crystal Palace. Bad news for Norwich City. Steve Stone has got the goal at Carrow Road for Nottingham Forest. With all credit to Alec Ferguson and his players tonight, the side is not the free-flowing side it has been for much of the season, indeed for several years now. They've had to do what other clubs do so well to try and keep pace with the leading lights, and that's use the set plays. And with Steve Bruce in the team, his 51st goal for Manchester United tonight, incidentally. This is it.
And it was an important one. But look at the way he attacks the ball. Well, that's Steve Bruce there, and his partner wasn't about to be undone. A magnificent goal.
Outdone. The Crystal Palace were undone. And Ince has found some form. He's not been quite at his marauding best over the last couple of weeks, possibly with the forthcoming court case on his mind. But somehow, as the temperature rose here, it suited him, and he's going stronger than most.
He's in a good second half, Collins. Whether it's I don't know, the man going off with a bit more space, but he's got himself involved. He's looked more like his old self in this second half.
The circumstances of this semi-final replay by no means ideal. The way the match has panned out with the two sendings off, not the ideal example. But there can be no disputing Manchester United's right to
to the triumph at its end, particularly the way they played in the first half here, as if they'd learned so much from Sunday. But here is Bruce required. Brian McClare started inside his own half. Cox gets back to interrupt what would have been a direct run on Wilmot's goal. Giggs and Roy Keane watching backstage out of the match for different reasons, vastly different reasons. Andy, man of the match.
Yeah, well, I think the best players in Manchester United tonight, Martin, have been the back four. I think all four have had exceptional games. But I'm going to give it to a lad who came very close to getting it on Sunday. He scored a vital equaliser on extra time then, and he's got the second one tonight. So Gary Palister is my Littlewoods Pool's man of the match.
If memory serves me right, Andy, you made him man of the match against Queen's Park Rangers.
Did I really? Oh. Maybe I'm due a drink off of it.
How? That was Southgate. How? Maybe a chance for Manchester United to round it all off in style here. McClare to Butt. Irwin. Just wondering whether every player had had a touch from Manchester United as they knocked the ball around and it went back to Schmeichel. And even when Palace do have it for a moment, Butt was biting in.
I think taking everything into consideration, the holders have been worthy winners tonight. They were good enough to come back twice on Sunday. But Crystal Palace weren't just good enough to peg back a lead when Manchester United took it tonight.
And there's Nicky Butt again with the energy of youth. It's Manchester United against Everton on May the 20th, a rerun of 1985 in 1995. The holders go back to Wembley thanks to first half goals here. Headers from set pieces from Steve Bruce on his return to the side after suspension, and Gary Palister, but for whom Manchester United would have been out on Sunday. Crystal Palace put up a splendid show in that match, but that was their chance, twice in front, but they couldn't take it. The downside tonight will be the two red cards, one for Alex Ferguson to digest in the shape of Roy Keane, and for the manager, particularly galling that he tried to substitute Keane before that and couldn't get him off. And then David Ellery sent him off along with Darren Patterson of Crystal Palace in an incident that involved Gareth Southgate as well. A new landmark in the FA Cup set by Manchester United, their 13th final, and at a time when possibly the league title may be beyond them, the Cup has again cheered Alex Ferguson and his players. Superbly led tonight by Steve Bruce. Successful semi-final replays have become a regular part of United's route to Wembley. And as Chris Armstrong reflects on what might have been, it's the United supporters who can prepare for what is for them a very familiar journey, thanks to these two stalwarts of the club. Sadly, this tie will always be tainted by tragedy off the field, and indeed tonight on the field the one escapade will make the wrong type of headlines, but overall in a football sense it has been a most worthy semi-final. Manchester United have been pushed all the way but they've seen off Crystal Palace. John Solako limps off. He'll be asked to play again, what, in less than 48 hours' time, I'm sure, on Good Friday against Spurs. It's finished here. Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 0. Andy, final thought from you.
I think Alex Ferguson's smile said everything to me, Mark. And this was a big result for Manchester United. I think Alex knew that. I think he's not giving up the championship, but I think he knows that this is the best chance of silverware this year. And the smile said it all at the end. He's happy to go through.
And let's join the two goal scorers with Nick Collins.
Thanks, Martin. Well, Steve, first of all, many congratulations. Were you making up for lost time? You missed the first game and then decided to score the first goal in the replay?
Well, it was a bit frustrating Sunday, but tonight made up for it, and to score a goal is just an added bonus, really.
But from your point of view, was that the perfect way to score a goal from a set piece like that?
Well, it's always nice to score, and it's a set piece what we often rehearse, and I've managed to stick a head on it. I thought I'd come out with first of all, but thankfully it's... Oh no,
no, that's straight in. There's no question of that.
Very nice.
Gary, congratulations to you too. A strange kind of semi-final for you. 2 bookings and 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 bookings and 2 goals. I'm more pleased with the 2 goals, I think. Yeah, it was great to get on the end of another cross. Sharpie knocked a great ball in, and I'm trying to catch up with Brucey again this year.
A case of anything he can do, you can do better.
Here we go. Well, hopefully, yeah.
Well, he could miss this, could he?
Yeah, please,
After that, was it a case of, right, let's hang on to what we've got?
Well, I mean, it's we just went out then to get the 2 goals at half-time in a semi-final. Then, obviously, with the sending-off again, it would just widen the game with 10 men. And I think both sets of players were tired towards the end in a semi-final, especially after the exertions of Sunday.
How disappointed do you think both clubs will be that, after all the unity that went on before the managers beforehand, a player from each side's been sent off?
Well, unfortunately in football, them things happen, them things flare up. It's a big game, and emotions are on there. But the fans who today were out there have behaved themselves, apparently, and that's what it's all about. It's about time that we got our whole house in order and get back to the way we were a few months ago.
And Gary, briefly, how much will you be looking forward to Wembley in the final?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be a tough game against Everton. They've shown the other day against Tottenham that they've got a great team spirit there. So we're going to have to fight tooth and nail like we've had to do against Crystal Palace. But hopefully it'll be a spectacle and everybody enjoy the game.
OK, well, listen, thanks for joining us. Gary, you've been named the Littlewoods Pool's man of the match. Steve, perhaps you might present it to him. Thank you very much.
Well done, congratulations. Nice to have you. Good lad. Thanks very much, lads.
United through 2-0. It was a sensitive night before the game. Both managers, Alan Smith and Alex Ferguson, came out and appealed for supporters to behave the right way, which they did. But this will make all the headlines tomorrow. The players came up with this. Roy Keane sent off. That was bad enough. The fracas that followed, even worse.